Welcome to the next part. Now we are discussing about sustained interference pattern. The interference pattern which have a permanent position of point of maxima and minima on the screen is called as sustained or permanent interference pattern. So in this interference pattern, the position of maxima and minima doesn't changes with the time, but they remain fixed at their respective positions. So, only a sustained type of interference pattern can be observed for a long interval of time only with the help of the coherent sources. If the two sources of light used are not coherent in nature, in that case, the pattern will remain sustained on the screen only for a time period of about 10 raised to power minus 8 seconds. This means that in 1 second the position of maxima and minima is going to change 10 raised to power 8 times. So this such a large change in the position of maxima and minima, it cannot be detected by human eye. So for us there will not be any interference pattern on the screen, but a simple illumination of the screen will be observed. So in order to produce a sustained interference pattern, the two sources of light should emit waves of same frequency and or wavelength. Light sources must be coherent so that the light coming from the two sources must be in same phase, or it must have a constant phase difference. Amplitude of the interfering waves should be equal. It is necessary in order to distinguish between maxima and the minima. Two sources of light should be used, should be very narrow in size, otherwise the dark and the bright fringes will tend to merge into each other, and we will not be able to distinguish between them. Interfering waves should travel along the same direction, otherwise interference will not take place. Light source must be monochromatic in nature so that all dark and all bright fringes are of the same width and they can be distinguished quite easily. Otherwise, if it is not monochromatic but a polychromatic, the fringes obtained will also be colored in nature, and different colors bright fringes will be of different width, such that they will tend to overlap each other, and we may not be able to observe interference pattern at longer distances from the central maxima. At last, the two waves must be in the same state of polarization. Let us discuss the intensity distribution curve. Now, if the two waves which are interfering, they have the same amplitude A, in that case intensity of the bright fringe will be I max equal to k into A plus A whole square, that is 4k into A square, where k is a constant of proportionality. So this intensity of the bright fringe will be constant in time. That means all bright fringes, doesn't matter they are central maxima or first order maxima, second order maxima, or so on, they will have the same intensity. Also, intensity of the dark fringe will be I minima equal to k times A minus A whole square, which is 0. So all dark fringes will be completely dark. So in this case you can see interference pattern produced by green color light, in which we have these bright fringes which are separated from the each other with the dark fringes. If we plot an intensity distribution curve of a particular fringe with its distance from the center, it will be as shown below. where whenever the power difference will be an integral multiple of the wavelength, that means 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, so on either side of the central maximum, constructive interference will take place, due to which a bright band will be formed. But if the power difference between the two interfering wave is odd half multiple of the wavelength, that means it is lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2, 5 lambda by 2, and so on. In that case, it is going to produce a minima due to the destructive interference. If the interference is produced by a polychromatic light, or it is produced with different lights of a different wavelength, then after comparison you can see that we know that the fringe width is given by the equation lambda d by d. So fringe width is directly proportional to the wavelength. So greater the wavelength, greater will be the fringe width. So you can see that if we are using a blue or violet light, fringe width is quite small, but if we are using red color light having largest wavelength, fringe width will also be greatest. Energy conservation in interference pattern. So there is no destruction of the energy, but energy remains conserved also in case of interference. Now when maxima is formed on the screen due to constructive interference, the intensity of light in that region is proportional to A1 plus A2 whole square. Where minima is formed due to a destructive interference, intensity is proportional to A1 minus A2 whole square. So what will be the value of the average intensity of the light on the screen? It will be I maxima plus I minima divided by 2, which will be proportional to A1 plus A2 whole square plus A1 minus A2 whole square over 2, which will give us average intensity proportional to A1 square plus A2 square. Now if we suppose that the interference does not take place between the two light sources, but the screen, the whole surface of the screen receives simply the light from both the sources S1 and S2, in that case the total intensity of light present on the screen, it will be simply I1 plus I2, which will be proportional to A1 square plus A2 square, which is same as that of average intensity of the light if interference is taking place. So in this case, the energy which disappears from the points of minima, an equal amount of energy appears on the points of maxima. So we cannot say that interference is actually the case of creation or destruction of energy, but it is not. So whatever energy disappears from the dark regions, the same amount of energy appears in the bright regions. Comparison of maxima and minima. We know that intensity of light coming from the slit S1 and S2 is I1 proportional to A1 square, I2 proportional to A2 square, which is equal to, giving us the ratio of intensities I1 over I2 equal to A1 square over A2 square. Also at maxima, amplitude is A1 plus A2, at minimum amplitude is A1 minus A2. So ratio of maximum to minimum intensity is equal to A1 plus A2 whole square over A1 minus A2 whole square. So if we take A2 common from numerator and denominator, we will have I max or I minima equal to A1 plus A2 plus 1 whole square divided by A1 over A2 minus 1 whole square, which we can write as R plus 1 over R minus 1 whole square, where R is A1 over A2 or square root of I1 and I2, which is the amplitude ratio of the two waves. Also, intensity of the light waves through a slit is directly proportional to the width of the slit. So in this case, if W1, W2 are the width of the two slits S1 and S2, in that case I1 will be proportional to W1, I2 will be proportional to W2. In that case, I1 over I2 will be equal to W1 over W2, or equal to A1 square over A2 square, or equal to R square. At last, if we produce interference with help of white light. In that case, the interference pattern will look like this as shown over here. Because white light is a mixture of different colors ranging from violet to red with wavelength 4000 to 7000 angstrom. So each color present in the white light is going to produce its own interference pattern. Now the central point of the screen is the point where the path difference will be 0 for all the colors of the white light coming from slit S1 and S2. So central point will always be a point of maxima, and over here, because point O will receive all colors without any phase difference, so central fringe is a bright in nature, it will be white in color. But if we take a look at the points around the central bright fringe, we know that the fringe width is directly proportional to the wavelength. Because violet color has the lowest wavelength and red has a maximum, so the fringe that will be present on either side of the central bright white fringe, it will be violet color. So you can see that this is the central maxima, and the bright fringe present on the either side of the central bright fringe, it will be violet in color, while the red color fringe, it will be farthest away from the central bright fringe because its wavelength is greater. Now this type of interference pattern, colorful interference pattern, is observed on the screen only up to a small distance from the central bright fringe. After that, the interference pattern is lost. We just see or observe a general illumination on the screen. This is due to overlapping of the different colored fringes, due to which the interference pattern disappears. So if we try to produce the interference pattern with the help of white light, nearer to the central bright white fringe, only few colored bright fringes will be observed on the either side, but after that interference pattern is disappearing. So in order to have a interference pattern in which fringes are present up to a larger distances from the central bright fringe, a monochromatic light is preferred as compared to that of a polychromatic light. Thank you.